Good morning and welcome to today's verse. Today's verse comes to us from, I was going to say the gospel of First John. Well, it is the gospel. It is good news. The gospel of First John chapter 4, verse 11. And it reads, Beloved, if God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. Notice the language here. Same language that we find in John's gospel in John 3:16, where he says, For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. This so love speaks to the degree in which God has love. And God shows us the degree in which he loves us by sending his very own son into this world to pay our sin debt once and for all. He became the substitute. He became the payment for your sin and for my sin, that we might be reconciled to God. And in spite of the fact that we do not deserve to be saved, that we have rebelled against God, that we violated every command that God has ever given us, that we even have poked our fists at heaven and said that there is no God, and yet God so loved us that he gave his only begotten son. And because he so loved us, then we ought to also love one another, irregardless of what a person has done to you, whether they have abused you or talked about you or criticized you, or they don't agree with you, or maybe they've even attacked you, maybe they hate you. It doesn't matter. We ought to love them because God has so loved us. If God would condescend to become man and take on our sin debt and pay for our sin debt on the cross, then we ought to love one another, for he has so loved us. To God be the glory for the great things he has done. I pray that you will just have a wonderful day as you go throughout this day. Meditate upon this verse. May it be a word of encouragement to you. May it be a word of conviction, knowing that as God has loved us, so loved us, we can. How can we not love others? I pray that you would have a wonderful day again. As you go throughout your day, be safe and tune in again tomorrow as we consider today's verse. Amen. God bless your heart.